It's interesting the changes Grady and I have seen with this project as we've mapped out various diagrams addressing our objectives. We started with Tamiflu, getting the right medicine to the right person at the right time. But our analysis of the data brought us full circle, back to the flu shot. The dreaded flu shot. The reason for the change is Tamiflu is a reactive measure, whereas the flu shot is a proactive measure. We're going to apply global informatics from both a technical and a cultural understanding. We're looking at Sanofi Pasteur, the largest manufacturer of vaccines in the world, located in Swiftwater, PA, and the perception of flu shots. Take a look at that picture, it's kind of interesting. The shot on the right is called a micro shot, and the needle is 10 times smaller than a regular shot, but we'll get into that later. We will continue to look at the CDC because one of the key components of global informatics is the focus on cooperation, communication between people, companies, organizations, and continents. So, getting back to Sanofi Pasteur, they are the largest manufacturer of vaccines. They ship all over the world all year long to match the various flu seasons in different continents. For this project, Grady and I will focus on North America and address the geographical, cultural, and business aspects of Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Let me give you some examples. At this time, I won't go into great detail about the culture of the United States, but I will say that Grady and I need to look at the concerns that people have about whether a vaccine will work, concerns about side effects, concerns about the pain of the needle, and take a look at the younger culture and why they do not get flu shots on a regular basis. Some of the cultural issues that affect Canada, for example. Canada has a long history of their federal government influencing the culture with programs, laws, and institutions. The Canadians rely a lot on the United States television, so there's an avenue to bring in advertising and promotional pieces. And another important characteristic about Canadians is only 1/3 of all Canadians got a flu shot last year. For example, if we did a cursory analysis of Mexico, we could use media reports that showed that the flu season hits Mexico with a death total of over 300 in 2014, as reported in the Huffington Post in February. We could also look at the homogeneous population. Close to 90% of the Mexicans identify themselves as Catholic. Mexicans put a high value on the hierarchy and structure in business and family matters, especially outside of cities where families are typically large, and Mexicans are very conscientious of their responsibility to the immediate family. Therefore, the father, who is the authority figure, if he gets a shot, that may help others within the family to get flu shots or get a vaccination. Okay, returning back to information technology and business. We know that IT constantly creates new possibilities for business solutions. As we work on our analysis, we also need to consider what are the strengths and advantages of Sanofi. What are their core competencies that allow them to be competitive in the marketplace, to expand into new end markets, as well as provide significant benefit to customers? And that is, what makes Sanofi hard for competitors to replicate? And I want to say one of their core competencies is their quality processes. I pulled a segment from their global health video that displays some of their core competencies so that you can see them firsthand. I also want you to watch towards the end of the video. You can see Carrier air conditioner on the container that's prominently displayed. This goes back to communications between companies and working together in a global business informatics environment.
The next step is to determine how to produce a vaccine on a large scale. The larger the scale, the more challenging it is to remain consistent. Sanofi Pasteur has the philosophy that quality is built into the process and not just the product, meaning that the millionth dose must be as effective as the first. We put strict demands on all of our equipment. Materials must be able to withstand extreme sterilizing temperatures or harsh chemicals. We'll use one of our pediatric combination vaccines as an example of our manufacturing process. Technicians put growing medium and the vaccine culture seeds into industrial-scale fermenters. The fermenter is then warmed to body temperature, and within a day or two, the vaccine seed material has multiplied to produce the necessary components for the specific vaccine. Centrifuges, chemical reactions, and chromatography columns, 50 different processes in all, separate and purify the compounds we need for the final vaccine. Quality is rigorously tested through every stage of the process. Then all vials are washed and sterilized in one process. They are filled with the vaccine, sealed, and checked 6 different ways for cracks, particles, opacity, and seal. To check for impurities, the vials are spun at 1000 RPM and then stopped abruptly. A camera scans 5 images, and if the computer detects any moving particles, the vial is rejected. We sell our products in over 180 countries around the world. With vastly different climates and conditions, maintaining the cold chain is critical, because vaccines must be kept consistently at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. So whether the shipment is bound for the remote Arctic or Central Africa, the appropriate shipping container and inserts ensure that an appropriate temperature range is maintained. A temperature monitor constantly records temperatures of the package contents in order to document maintenance of the cold chain. At Sanofi Pasteur, every single procedure is documented and verified. Production environments are strictly controlled and monitored. Raw materials and final products are tested. Quality operations, regulatory affairs, entire departments are dedicated to even the smallest detail.